Yeah.
I love you.
Welcome back to another episode of Sports Refined Podcast. This is season 4, everyone. Season 4, 4 seasons in. Fellas, Happy New Year. I'm your host, the best host, Premium Nam, alongside with the People's Champ, Casey. And then we got Mr. Rel 2 Real. How you doing, my brother? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. What's up? I miss y'all, man.
That's a whole fact. Hopefully this COVID situation over. Happy New Year's, fellas.
Y'all look good. I gain weight. You got your beds
Whoa,
connected
whoa,
and
whoa,
stuff.
whoa,
All
whoa,
right.
whoa, whoa. I'm on a weight loss journey right now. I'm down
Okay,
18 pounds, my
you're
guy.
losing
You know what I
weight.
mean?
Other
I'm
people gaining
trying
weight.
to get to your level.
I ain't gonna lie. I've been snacking during quarantine. I had some nachos last night. I ain't gonna lie.
Nachos. I'm eating whole steaks and like, yeah, getting crazy.
All right. What you guys any New Year's resolutions this year? Or you guys over it?
I'm actually nervous, man. The way 2020 came through, we don't know what to expect. So I just pray it ain't that. That's it.
Fair enough. Casey, what you got?
Um, just nothing too crazy. Keep, like Rel said, hoping after 2020 nothing goes too crazy, too left. Just keep that faith. We all have a good year. That's all the time, and I'm on.
All right, trifecta. I feel the same exact way. Hopefully, we can just move on with some positivity, some good sports shows. You know, and we just going to do that. So let's get right into it. Today was the last day for the NFL season. The playoffs start next year. Next year. The playoffs start next week. What were your guys' biggest takeaway from this current NFL season? I'm gonna start with KC first.
Nah, you should have went me first. You gonna take my answer? Nah, go ahead.
For me, my biggest takeaway one of my biggest takeaways, I ain't gonna lie, shout out to the Cleveland Browns for making it to the playoffs in like Lord knows how long. Nope. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, congratulations to them. Follow us at Sports Redefined. But everybody was saying Bill Belichick in this system. I mean, you plug and play and you give other people helmets and they go out there and play, and you let Tom Brady go and you would still be good because you know the system. And once again, Tom Brady was not the quarterback for Bill Belichick and he didn't make the playoffs. Tom Brady goes to a team that hasn't made the playoffs since 2007, 2008. And his first season there, he leads them he leads the franchise in touchdown passes. I'm not saying he had a perfect season, but I'm just saying, keep Tom Brady, you make the playoffs and you compete in. When Tom Brady is there, you not in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. That's my biggest takeaway from it.
Bro, what you got?
You stole my answer once again. Shout
We
out
can
to
talk about it. Go for it.
shout out to the Cleveland Browns. I don't remember the last time they were good. What's
2002, 19 years
What was
ago.
I? 12?
Yes, sir.
12. So shout out to that. Me personally, I watched Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, this guy's really good. I may be late. Everybody's gonna be like, whoa, wait, what? But I didn't really, I knew about him, but I ain't really watched. Now I'm able to watch. Like, okay, now this dude is dope. Like before I left, he just threw a touchdown pass in the Bears game, and it was like a really pretty dope bullet. And I'm like, yo, this guy's really good. So that's for me, Aaron Rodgers and the Browns, and of course watching Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots post Tom Brady.
All right. So I guess we all had the biggest takeaway. However, I'm gonna go different than you guys. My biggest takeaway is that Bill Belichick is actually better at his job than Tom Brady, right? And I say this for the same reason that KC, you alluded to that fact that Tom Brady's teams are in the playoffs. They're 11-5. First time Bucks have been to the playoffs in a while, right? And this is the first time the Patriots have not made the playoffs. However, if you had the situation Belichick had they went 7-9. I'm not saying it's a good record, but the fact that coming into the season that 8 of your starters from defense decided not to play because of COVID reasons, that's huge, right? Because on a defensive team, you have 11 players, right? If 8 of your starters say no, we're not playing, you're stuck with 8 new players that's from your bench. So you have 8 bench players for the whole season. Once again, we know there was no preseason, practices are limited. It's like kind of like a bubble situation. So to do that off rip and get 7 wins, that's impressive. Second of all, his wide receivers, 7 of them are undrafted. That's how many undrafted wide receivers have actually made it? In the history of NFL, it's probably like only 3, like Rod Smith in 1994, Wes Welker, and like Antonio Gates. And he's not even a wide receiver, right? Like Antonio Gates is a tight end.
Yeah,
so for Bill Belichick to actually like eke out 7 wins with that roster, I don't know any other coach who could have done it, right? Like you have the Chargers who I think they won 6 games, but they have like a franchise quarterback rookie as in Justin Herbert. Matt Ryan didn't win 7 games. Deshaun Watson didn't win 7 games. Carson Wentz, who was in Super Bowl 3 years ago, did not win 7 games. And they all have better rosters than the New England Patriots. Tom Brady, on the flip side, he had 4 Pro Bowl wide receivers. He has a first-round pick in Leonard Fournette, who was drafted 4th overall. I don't know. Like Gronkowski is a Hall of Famer. Antonio Brown, borderline Hall of Famer. He might be a Hall of Famer, but Tom Brady, like your season's kind of handcake to you.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it was easy for him because the same preseason that Bill Belichick didn't get for coaching the same team that like with different players, yes, but he was always the head coach for the New England Patriots. Tom Brady literally played in the same league that he's coaching in and didn't have the training camp either, which is kind of the reason for the interceptions and the disconnects with him and his team. Like, could you imagine if you would have you're saying this about Bill Belichick is 7-9 with no training camp. What would Tom Brady have been with a full training camp with that roster? Like that, Tom Brady did that at first year, no training camp. That's number one. And number two, I'm not saying Bill Belichick is a bad coach. I'm just talking about he's not like it's the system. And I want people to realize like, no, there's something significant that happens when you have Tom Brady at the helm of your offense and as the leader of your team. Like that's not the first time we've seen a makeshift Patriots team where their defense had different players or offense had rookies or undrafted receivers or the component that kept them together was Tom Brady. That's why they were so competitive. Yes, in recent years, they had a defense. I give you that. But they've always had a makeshift team for the most part. Like one year they had Randy Moss in a stacked offense. A couple years ago, their offense was terrible. A couple years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago, they had a top 10 defense. 5 years ago, they was playing mostly offensive. Like they're always shifting. But Tom Brady was there. Now you take Tom Brady out, you make another shift. And like I said, 7 wins with that roster is commendable. But 7 wins don't get you in no playoffs. It don't.
Unless you're in the NFC East.
I'm gonna play the fence. I'm gonna play the fence. I get what Nami is saying, but I feel like it goes hand in hand because we also thought the system built Tom Brady. So everybody was just like, oh, all right, without the system, what is he gonna do? Like Nami said it himself, like without Belichick, there's no Tom Brady, and we proved it this year that that ain't necessarily the case. But I'm going to say, being in Belichick's system as long as he's been in this system, he was able to take those traits and the winning mentality and the stuff to Florida. So I'm gonna play the fence with both and say they rubbed off on each other, winning this long together, and now we're both seeing how they can still operate without each other because they was who they were before any system, before any championships. Like they are who they are. Like we gotta give Tom Brady his props, and we have to salute Bill Belichick. They're both Hall of Famers.
Fair enough. We gotta disagree to agree or agree to disagree. I don't agree with a lot of people.
However you want to start the sentence.
You just wanna say it's coaches and systems that we build players. Like that's your motto.
So for my take, it's not even about that, right? For this one, it's just that what you just alluded to, bro, like Tom Brady did steal some of the Patriots' way and take it to Tampa Bay, but nobody wants to give Belichick that credit, right? If you went to this restaurant, you took the secret product and you went to a different restaurant and you blow up, you stole my ingredient and you were like, oh, it's all Tom Brady. Like, what happened to the molding, the culture, the fostering
It's the
that
same
Belichick
thing
gave
with
you?
the Warriors, though.
Okay,
Huh?
It's the same thing with the Warriors. It's the same thing with the Warriors and Steve Kerr. They say through the triangle, you know, we got to give Phil his props for that. It's the same thing. You can't deny where you got your winning mentality from and how you play now. Like, it is what it is.
All right. Next question. What is the biggest disappointment in this NFL season?
Besides the NFC East, or because that's just what like the whole division.
Chill out. Giants about to make the playoffs. It's a Washington.
I mean, you know what? I'm gonna leave them alone. I'm gonna leave the Giants alone. But
No, I'm not. Go ahead.
I don't get it. Like, for Carson Wentz, dude, who you thought you was? Pardon my English. Who did you think you were?
Pardon your ebonics.
Yeah. Who did you think you were by just so you want to? The minute things go left for you, your coach benches you because you're playing bad, and now you want to trade, but you're playing bad. You can't, like. First of all, I can't. That's number. He's playing bad. I'm gonna leave it at that. He's playing bad. The Washington football team is like. They're kind of up and down, but then it's like Dwayne Haskins is getting caught in the gentleman's club. We're on Sports Redefined. I'm gonna leave it at gentleman's club.
There you go.
And in a COVID pandemic situation, when your head coach is fighting cancer while coaching, and you're supposed to be the future of the franchise, what kind of tone does that set? It doesn't make no sense. That doesn't make no sense to me. And that their team honestly wasn't that good. They don't even have a name. They don't have a name yet.
Oh, that was my point.
They don't have a name yet. So you just making it worse by being in the gentleman's club, or they're probably seeing James Harden, but that's another situation.
Oh, wow. Shots.
And then just the Cowboys are just, you know what, Rel, go ahead. I could be here all day about the Cowboys. Rel, go ahead.
For me personally, it would be Saquon getting hurt. I wanted to see what he was going to do in his, this year coming up. Maybe we'd help the Giants do something. And also, what I was going to say, also Odell Beckham being hurt and not being part of the Browns' success, and him teaming up with his LSU buddy. And they, that was disappointment to me. And of course, the Giants and the Jets, another losing year for our city.
The Giants might make the playoffs. All right, chill out. They might make the playoffs.
That's cool. But it's just like enough already. All right. As New Yorkers, we've had enough.
Rel, to give you a ray of hope, the Bills are technically Buffalo is New York. They have won their division.
We tried. Other New Yorkers don't want to hear that. We want what we want. We want the Giants and the Jets to do something with their lives. And come on. We're turning into the Browns out here. Come on.
I agree with Casey. The Philadelphia Eagles is the biggest disappointment. It's like you take their history, right? These are guys who were in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. You won a Super Bowl three years ago in 2018. Now, 2019, no noise. 2020, you got worse, right? So I never seen a team that was on a high peak decline so fast within 2 years. When you have all your core pieces, right? Carson Wentz is still there. You still have some of your wide receivers. I think like Aguilar got traded. He's on the Raiders right now. But however, you still have your core pieces. And I understand you guys are riddled with injuries and whatnot, but this is why Carson Wentz gets paid $200 million, right? Like, you hide my weaknesses. You hide the injuries that we have. Like, you figure it out. We gave you a lot of money for you to figure it out. So I think that's my biggest disappointment for the Philadelphia Eagle organization as a whole. Like, it's just bad, right? Like, it's terrible.
My thing is, even if you don't have it figured out, you don't act like that, especially when you're part of the reason your team is doing bad. Now, if you're doing your job and it's just not working out, and you're trying to stay positive, and it just happens to come out like that, and all right, I want to trade. That's a different situation. Carson Wentz, you can take a look at like his season and say he's part of the problem. Like, bro, how dare you just try to leave after you was partially responsible for kind of messing up the season? It's like, what are you talking about? You want to trade?
How you get all that money and you crying like a little
Yeah, it's
girl,
like how
out?
Yeah, how do we believe in you? We paid you all that money.
I
You
told
had a
y'all
bad season, and now
that's
you
the
want
big
to
money curse.
like what?
It's a big money curse. The contracts be too high.
Um,
Oh wait.
Who do you got?
We gotta shout out Lamar Jackson.
Oh yeah,
Lamar Jackson's not getting no shout out till he gets a playoff win. I'm sorry.
Man, that's a feat.
yeah, and
1,000 yards rushing as a quarterback.
and
Jackson not getting no milestone until you get a playoff win.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Shout
gonna
out to
give
Lamar.
Lamar some credit because it took a good he grew as a leader this season because during the midway point in the season they were looking kind of they might not make it. It takes strong leadership at that quarterback position to get your team out of a situation like that. So much props to Lamar. I agree with Namdi though to some degree. Like, yeah, bro, it's time to get a playoff win.
No, for a fact. We salute winners over here, but that's an amazing feat. We haven't had real quarterbacks like that. Shout out to the grandfather Mike Vick, who started all these quarterbacks running their brains out, and Lamar took it to another level. So I salute you on that. But yeah, you gotta win now, buddy.
All right, flipping to the best team in the NFL currently right now, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're currently 14-1. If the Chiefs make it to the Super Bowl this year and they win, how many do you think they win?
I think they win one or two more. I'll probably say in like a 3-year span. Probably like a 3 year. They got a 9. See, my thing about the Chiefs, that's what's happening with them right now is they have a lot of chemistry going on right now. That's like it's really grown to the point where they're playing. They got each other's tendencies to the point where it's subconscious. It's kind of like Lamar, not Lamar, excuse me. Pat is kind of like, all right, I know Tyreek is one of the fastest, if not the fastest receiver in the NFL. If he runs this route, that route, or a go route, nobody could guard him. I got this much time. If he's not open, Kels is open over the middle, Travis Kelce. Then they got Sammy Watkins playing the slot. And then whenever that doesn't work, you just give the ball to Le'Veon Bell or for audible. And, oh, wait a minute, my head coach is actually a good coach. So the minute I don't know what's going on or we don't know what's going on, Andy Reid will actually have a game plan. So it's kind of hard to stop that offense. They were already talented, but it's like they're really gluing and meshing together, and it's just really it's an uphill battle trying to stop that offense.
I'm gonna be nice and say I want to keep it real and say after this one they probably won't win anymore. But I feel like nobody else really has the axe together. And the last dynasty per se we saw was the Patriots. That's over. So to give them the next dynasty up, I'll probably give them a lucky three-peat. And then I feel like after next year, other teams will start figuring it out, and they'll make trades to step their game up, and somebody else will step up. But as of right now, the Chiefs got it. The chemistry is there, the coaching is there, receivers there, running backs is there. They got it. So I get them a three-peat being nice.
I think that I agree with you, bro. I think this season might be the last season if some changes aren't made, right? Like December, even though they won and they were undefeated in December, they played terrible, right? It's like it's more so in sports you need some luck to win, right? But it depends on when your luck comes. The Chiefs' luck is coming to get to the playoff. I'd rather your luck happen in the playoffs and not before, right? Because what goes up must come down. So we don't know who's going to knock them out. Maybe I might be wrong, and Patrick Mahomes has made a deal with the football gods that he's going to be undefeated. I don't know, but right now I think this might be their last year. But if they do win this year, I would like them to see them three-peat.
That's facts. That's what I'm saying. We ain't seen a three-peat in a long time.
Get it done. It would be never been done ever in NFL history.
Exactly.
Casey, you want to say something?
I was gonna say if I had to pick a team that is like let's pay attention to the Tennessee Titans because they have the way they play football. It's possible that they could beat a Kansas City from a standpoint if they control the pace of the game and they control time of possession. Because Derrick Henry is a man child. It's like LeBron playing running back. Like he's real. It's really you can't do anything. So if he has one of those monster games, Ryan Tannehill keeps his head on straight and they control the clock, I see it possible. But in a shootout, I don't see Pittsburgh beating them this year. Pittsburgh don't have a running game like that. Then next year, who beats them next year only way somebody beats them in my mind, like you said, Namdi, you need a little bit of luck. But who's built to beat them next year?
Those strong ifs, brother.
So that's my.
I don't know, the Packers might have a chance, right? Because like the Super Bowl is not about. You got to look at the other conference. Like the Packers might have a chance. The New Orleans Saints might have a chance. Tom Brady might have a chance to beat these guys, right? If they get there to the promised land. But question, if Patrick Mahomes wins 3 in a row, right? If he does, where would you guys place him on your all-time quarterback list?
He's definitely top 10. He's
top 10, yeah. I was gonna say top 10.
I need top 10.
No.
I can make an argument.
Is higher, lower? Is he higher than 5? Is he higher than top 5?
No.
Yeah, I can make an argument. He's tied down.
No.
He's in the top 5.
Why no, Rel?
I can make.
He could win never again.
But that would be pretty good. I
understand that feat, but he could never win again. He could win a 3-peat and be just playing until he gets hurt and retires.
But I ain't gonna lie, bro. If that's the case, if it plays out like that, it's not a lot of quarterbacks walking around. People that play quarterback in general that got 3 Super Bowls, a 50 TD season, a MVP, a Super Bowl MVP. It's not a lot of people who play quarterback walking the earth that got that resume.
So that make him top 5 automatically if they get a 3-peat. Top 5 ever.
Like this.
Ever in the game of football, ever. He's top 5?
If he has the Super Bowl MVPs to go along with it, and he's going to be in that top 5.
I'll give it to him if he, of course. Okay, y'all saying by default if he 3 straight automatically in there. I'm saying he's already top 10. If the 3-peat happens, he moves up in rank. And if he's doesn't win again, but he's still very productive on all the way through his years till he retires, he's definitely top 5.
But Rel, this the thing why he got it and I don't want to say gotta be top 5, but I could make that case because if you factor in his resume already, if they 3-peat and his potential being that he's in his mid-20s still, it's like, man, by the time he get to 30, if he get another regular season MVP, that makes 2 and 3 more 50 seasons, like 50 TD seasons is like, and you 29, 30. How do you
retire? Call it a day.
No. But I say this like this. I ask because I'm saying, all right, what if a guy comes in the NBA, he wins Rookie of the Year, MVP, and he get a ring? That make him automatically top 5 players ever?
Nah, but that's different, right? Because football is hard to repeat. Like in the NBA, it's more easier to repeat because it's longer contracts, guaranteed money. But if this one team goes to the playoffs 3 times in a row and win. Nah, you top 3, bro.
But it's also one game. People don't understand that. The Super Bowl is one game.
That's why it makes it
one game. Important. A lot of them games be luck. A lot of them games be super catches to the helmet. And you feel me? So, but I definitely agree. Mahomes he's a real deal.
Because the last time we saw somebody go to the Super Bowl more than 3 times in a row was the Buffalo Bills, right? Jim Kelly. But they were all losses, right? So we're doing the flip side. Imagine somebody went to 3 Super Bowls in a row and actually just won.
Okay.
But to play the debate is it's kind of, I see what Rel is saying though, because it's really hard to be all right. Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, and Drew Brees. That's 5. That's 5 right there.
They never won 3 in a row.
they never played with that offense though. It's like
hey, listen, times are times, bro. We can't be like he won. He's winning this ever. Like I can't complain. Like what? He's winning now, so he win now. Because if that was the situation, we can be like, hey, Tom Brady, yeah, he won 6, but he didn't win with a good offense. So his win means more than Joe Montana, who won with Jerry Rice. Like, nah, like he won the Super Bowl.
But it does though. It does though.
It depends like where your argument is going though, because you could always add stuff to the debate. Like he won, but for some people it don't count because of this. For some people it count because of that. Like we'll be here all day.
Yeah. All right. So we're in agreement if Patrick Mahomes win 3 in a row, top 5 of all time. Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's switch to sports. Let's go to the NBA. All right. So far, it's only been like 6 or 7 games thus far for the NBA, right? What have you been surprised about this far in the NBA season?
The Clippers' inconsistency.
Okay, why is that surprising?
I mean, it's the way. It's the way. Like they'll wake up and play the Lakers. Go hard, look like, all right, we on to something. And then they go get smacked by 50, like the next game. Bro, what just happened? Like, is this the same team? Like, what? That's pretty much it. It's just like, wow. Like, and maybe Boston. I'm really saying Boston is not as good as everybody thinks they are. Like, they're really not that good.
In Boston's defense, they are missing Kemba Walker.
Like I said, Boston is not as good as they think they are. Like, I'm watching the games and I'm just like, man.
If you missing your all-star caliber starting point guard, I'm just saying.
But he didn't do that last year, so it don't matter.
He had a knee injury. He's battling a knee injury that season. So I'm just
Boston
saying.
Boston Kemba is not Charlotte Kemba.
If they could get a healthy Kemba and not play well, then that would be a surprise for me. I'm not surprised if they're missing Kemba and they're doing bad.
All right, Casey, what's your biggest surprise thus far?
For me, just like the amount of trades and like people going in different places and just how some of these situations are turning out. Like I can't have one. Like one of them for me is the Russell Westbrook situation. That is surprising. I mean, you reap what you sow. You make your bed, you sleep in it. But it's still surprising because it's like, Russ, you did all that complaining for a trade. You ain't getting out of one win, fam. You ain't getting out one win yet.
They just got one.
Oh, they just got one. Okay, all right.
They're 1-5.
I'll leave them alone. But that situation is kind of like, so you asked for a trade. That's surprising to me. It's like, for all of that, why didn't you just stay with your friend and work that out? At least y'all were a playoff team.
Like Kevin Durant or James Harden?
No, James Harden. At least when Russell Westbrook and James Harden played on the same team, they was a playoff team.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's confusing to me. The Knicks, this is confusing to me. Me and Namdi kind of talked a little bit about it before we started. I'm surprised, but it's kind of like a good surprise. But it's like, I hope they keep this up, and I hope this is sustainable. But it really was a surprise to me. Like the Knicks, y'all really trying to do something? Okay.
I just don't have faith in their roster, but they're doing okay.
That was a surprise to me. The Nets really like okay.
Hold on. So I want to go delve into like what you and Rel said, right? So going to Rel's point about the Clippers' inconsistency. Do you think you're being not too harsh? God, I don't like that because I'm saying it's being too harsh, right? But they only played 6 games. They're 4-2. One was a blowout with no Kawhi Leonard. And then the other loss was a 6-point loss to a Utah Jazz team, which is like 4-2 as well. So is that really inconsistent or bad?
I'm not mad if you lose. It's expected. It's a 72-game season. I'm mad at how you lose.
Okay.
How are you losing by 50, 40 points? Like, what? And y'all just played the defending champs and was going hard. And then y'all played Portland and y'all don't miss a game. And it's like, what? Like, y'all don't miss a shot. So it's like, what's going on? Like, you gotta make up your mind. Like, y'all gonna mess around and go 50% the whole season because y'all gonna win, y'all gonna lose, y'all gonna win. Like, what y'all doing?
They out there front running.
It's
And
crazy.
So Casey, and you mentioned Russell and the Wizards, but I don't understand why everybody's giving him flack. The Wizards were bad last year, right? And they're bad this
Been
year.
a bad
It's
team.
like,
He was dumb for going there.
But
they
that's my
want to
point.
do what they did last year.
But Namdi and Rel, that's my point. If the Wizards were bad last year and they weren't going anywhere, why didn't you just work out that situation with your friend and have a superstar on your team?
Okay.
Sometimes you know your friend.
But I'm just confused. So I'm gonna not. Okay, Namdi, if me and you have an argument and we playing basketball, but I know we're in a league where we're gonna compete and be at the end of the season competing at least in the playoffs of that league, yeah, I'm gonna argue with you, but I'm not gonna ask for a trade to go to the worst team in our league. I'm gonna eventually call Namdi and say, all right, we gotta play ball again, bro. Like, we gotta work this out. Or
Yeah, but we're winners. What can we say?
Like why? It just doesn't make no sense. Namdi gets me mad, but we're a playoff team, but Namdi gets me frustrated. Let me get a trade to a team that's not gonna do anything, just so I could be happy for like a week and a half. And it doesn't make sense to me.
No, but I think Westbrook overall, he's actually happy in a situation because he reunited with Scott Brooks. Bro, raising his hand. He reunited with Scott Brooks, and I don't know. I think the season's still young, so let's see how it plays out. Bro, what you want to say?
Oh, I'm gonna go back to something Casey said. It's basically karma. It's a whole bunch of karma. Like, if you was as Russell Westbrook, you thought the grass was greener somewhere else. You've been at OKC, you wanted to explore and use your star power, and you go to Houston and it doesn't work, and now you want to go to Washington. I feel like he's gonna be floating. He's gonna keep floating because it's not gonna be the right fit for him. It's never gonna be OKC again. OKC, it was all about him. You left that, going to other places where people already have their franchise player. They don't. Okay, your triple double is nice, but this is the guy we already gave our max to. So you're gonna have to find a way to play with him instead of you staying in OKC, you being a guy, and they work around you. Granted, OKC is probably not the best desirable place, but that was your team. You called the shots. You could demand trades and all that type of stuff. So, like Casey said, this is kind of what you get. 1 in 5, bro. 1 in 5. Mr. Triple W, 1 in 5. And I also think something is wrong with Houston. So I'm not gonna put it all on Russ. Something is wrong with Houston because now James Harden wants out. Something's going on there. We need to explore that. When I said it, y'all thought I was just being a Melo fan, but look at what's going on. Everybody's gone.
I'm glad you brought that up, bro. Let's talk about it. Is there something wrong with Houston?
Something's wrong.
Or
with Houston,
is there wrong with their max contract superstar player? Because
he wants to leave.
Houston has made a lot of switches, a lot of trades, a lot of fires, hires, rehires. It was Melo's fault, but before that, we want to bring Melo in. No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh,
that's what they were saying.
Okay, you got it.
Melo's
fault. The whole thing.
But before that, we need a shooter. That's Chris Paul Mans. It could be good for the team. Oh, that didn't work. We trade for Chris Paul. That didn't work. We trade for Russell. That didn't work. We trade Clint Capella. That didn't work. Dwight Howard and James Harden don't match. That don't. Everything. Mike D'Antoni leaves. The assistant leaves. The GM gets fired. Everything in Houston is getting changed except for the best player on their team. So is there something wrong with the Houston Rockets?
It's a little bit of both.
Or is there something wrong with the bearded one who
it's a little bit of both.
Wants a trade now? I'm just saying.
You created a monster. We told y'all years ago that style of play wasn't gonna work. Nobody listened. Y'all gave D'Antoni all his money. Y'all had him thinking he was a mastermind. That style of play does not work. It didn't work with Steve Nash. I don't know why you thought it was gonna work with this guy. And now look, he's gone. Created a monster. The diva wants out now. You dribble 9 times, you step over, you shoot 57 threes. It got you nowhere. Now you want to leave. We've been telling you for years this don't work.
Bro, and I'm gonna let you go. Hold on. And I want to respond to something Rel said. I'm glad you brought up Steve Nash because at least they gave an isolation system. They gave the keys to that car to a pass first type of player. Mentally speaking, that means he's unselfish. So the system wasn't ideal, but someone with unselfish intentions is running it. So you're going to overachieve. That's what I'm saying. Is the problem Houston or is the problem James Harden? That's all I'm saying.
That system. Because now we're going into two eras trying to run the same system, and we're seeing it doesn't work. So you gave it to a willing passer, it didn't work. Maybe because the teams were better, but still, it didn't work. The end result was they didn't get the ring. Now we're in a whole nother decade era. It's not working. Like, it's never worked. But the monster is too big now. Even if James Harden leaves, like Tom Brady, that system is embedded in him. At this point, being an MVP, will he be able to go somewhere else and readjust his game? Same thing I asked about Melo. You used to having the ball, you used to having an ultra green light. Wherever you go, are you going to be able to readjust your game? You go from being able to put up 60 points and shoot 45 shots. Where you doing that at anywhere else? At this point.
So let me stay here for this one, right? So you mentioned the Mike D'Antoni system that it doesn't win, right? You said it.
It hasn't won.
It hasn't won, so it don't win, right? If it hasn't, it don't, right? Like that's what it is.
Well, we don't know. We don't know what the Nets going to do. We don't know.
Right. So 2005, Steve Nash, the Phoenix Suns. That's what we're alluding to. They got to the playoffs. They didn't win the championship. The Houston Rockets with James Harden and Mike D'Antoni didn't win the championship. So now, fast forward to right now for the Brooklyn Nets. Do you see them as a championship favorite? Do you think they might win a title? Because right now, we know if Mike D'Antoni's on that bench and Steve Nash is your coach and you have Amari on the sideline, they're definitely running the Mike D'Antoni offense.
For a fact.
Definitely running the system. However, the only difference is you have an all-world caliber player in Kevin Durant on that team. Does that transcend the system?
Yes. They're going to the finals to lose to the Lakers in 7 games, but that's a different conversation. But they're definitely a finals caliber team just by firepower alone. Unfortunately, Spencer Dinwiddie tore his ACL. That doesn't help, but I still believe they have enough firepower to get to the NBA finals. Like that system is not going to hold back Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, it doesn't matter what system he plays in. He can have 30 points on 11 shots. Then it also helps that Kyrie is a mismatch for mostly anybody who guards him at this point. He's feeling it right now. Like he's having a real good start to the season. So yeah, they look real good. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. They look real good on offense right now. Defensively, it's a couple of things I don't like, but I'm gonna give them a pass because it's the beginning of the season and their Kyrie and KD are kind of older. So they might try and steal a page out of LeBron book and try to just really chill out for a couple of days, couple of games, couple of nights. But I'm going to leave them alone on that note. But they could make it to the finals. I believe they are.
Bro.
I agree with KC up until – well, I agree with him. I'm just going to change the wording a little bit. Everybody's saying firepower. Nobody's really paying attention that KD and Kyrie are champions. They won before. Of course, Kyrie played with LeBron. Kevin Durant played against LeBron. Doesn't matter. They won. So at this point, they know what it takes to win. So if you add this system, which gives them the freedom on offense, with the knowledge they have, knowing the defense they have to play in order to win a championship, that's different. I think that can get them over the hump. So we'll see. It's interesting to see what happens. Like you said, it's really, really early. So I'm not so hyped that they're like, shooting lights out. I just think, both of them sat for a year. They're really hyped to play basketball again. So I want to see, as we keep going, what's going to happen. But definitely, I think it's a different mindset, being that both of them actually have something to prove. KD, now he has his rings, but now he has to prove himself away from the Golden State offense and Curry. And, it's whispers that, they carried him. So now it's Kyrie's turn, or you have to win away from LeBron. So they both have their own personal chips on their shoulders. Them teaming up, that's crazy. It's scary. It's interesting to see how the rest of the guys develop and to watch Steve Nash get the credit. Like he, put it together. But we'll see.
So, like, one of my biggest surprises for this start of the season was the Brooklyn Nets and how they came out and, like, destroyed the Warriors and the Celtics. I didn't think Kyrie and KD was going to play that fluid in a newly formed offense. But then again, it's not surprising that it's a player-friendly offense, so you can just do what you have to do, right? Mm-hmm. The reason why I think they will not, or they're one of my championship favorites, but the issue I see with them is defense is number one, but number two is the lack of a double team, right? Like, if you watch these games, and I know it's a beginning of the season, coaches hold off on their tactics and strategies in the beginning of the season, right? But KD, you're an all-world player. You're not getting doubled. Kyrie, same thing, right? Because my thing is, right now, nobody's like doubling them and saying, hey, Kyrie, you beat us. Hey, let's take Kyrie away. Hey, KD, you beat us. In the 6 games that they played, nobody has done it.
Good idea.
Huh?
It's not a good idea.
Yeah, that's not smart with the way their team is constructed. Because I think, but once again, like no one person could win, right? So even if you take away KD or you take away Kyrie, which is a difficult thing to do, my thing is I don't see KD going for 70 points because we have to win. He never done it before ever in his career. I don't think he cracked 60 yet. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he has to though.
But Nnamdi, do you play Russian roulette with that fully loaded pistol? I'd rather not. I'd rather not be the first team Kevin Durant scores 70 on because he has the skill set to do it. So I'm not taking that chance. I'm not doing that.
But still
me personally,
right? Like, so yeah, he has the skill set to do it, but will he actually put that many shots up, right? Because in order to get 70 points, you have to put up like at least 40 shots. Is KD actually going to put up 40 shots?
But see, that's the problem with KD is his shooting percentages are so efficient. It's like if you give him 40 shots, he's liable. Once he starts feeling it, he's liable to make 33 of them, 34 of them. Like he's really that good.
I'll take my chances on that because it's never been done, right? He hasn't done it. Like he hasn't done it.
He's had 30 in a playoff game on 11 shots. Like not. He's had 30 in a playoff game on 10 or 11 shots, I believe it was. I can't remember the exact number, but it's asinine. It's like, now do you really want to take that chance? Like, I'm not knocking you. I'm just like, really? Like,
I think as we go down the stretch of the season, you're going to see a lot of people saying, hey, let one of them beat us. It's similar to when you had Shaq and Kobe. Hey, send Shaq to the free throw line. Let Shaq beat us. Like, it's divide and conquer. That's how you sound great team.
For me, I see where you're going with that strategy.
That led to a 3-peat.
True, but I just wouldn't leave it. I just wouldn't leave it to Kevin Durant. You beat me, like, and I know I'm not gonna say this like it's an NBA game or anything like that, but to say Kevin Durant isn't it is possible for him to, just because it hasn't been done before. He has the skill set. It's not an NBA game, but he has put up 60 in the Rucker with double teams on him, a tighter court, so you can't really play the way you want to play, do everything you want. You're constricted. He's 7 feet, so it's like. But my thing is, I'll take your strategy, but just apply it to Kyrie because his style of play just deems that Kyrie isn't a jab step, one dribble pull up type of player.
Right.
He's gonna overexert himself no matter he likes it or not. So if you can force Kyrie to get a win and wear him down and make him win a game, I like my chances. But they're still like they still have great pieces around Kyrie, even if you find a way to take Kevin Durant away. I'm gonna say find. So
okay. You mentioned Kyrie, you mentioned Russell Westbrook. You mentioned Steph Curry. Who is the best point guard currently in the NBA?
Are there any like rules of engagement for this question, or like? Because for me, it's like from a skill level, Steph Curry. From a skill level, Steph Curry can be in this conversation But from a reality standpoint, it's like, Steph, you don't have enough qualifying games to, like, I've seen Dame in the bubble do what he do. Like,
just tell me your answer, bro.
You're making it hard, bro.
Dame Lillard, my bad. I was trying to create conversation, just playing devil's advocate.
Why Lillard? Why you say Lillard?
I feel like I just like his poise. I like the way he carries himself, how he leads his franchise. No knock on any of the other point guards, but I just get Gilbert Arenas vibes from Damian Lillard from a standpoint like I know I'm good. It's just Gilbert was talking more trash, but Dame is like I know I'm good. It's y'all not doing nothing with me. I just choose to be quiet, rap, go to practice, and give y'all 30. But you're not doing nothing with me. It's like with Kyrie, it's like you doing too much. Like you out here burning sage and you out play ball, fam. You got something to prove. Play ball. Everything else come after that.
The earth is flat. Like he's wilding. Who was on the list again? Run it back.
No, so there's no list. It's just who you think is the best NBA point guard right now.
Well, what was the guys you named? I have a point to prove. You said Steph. You said
Steph, Lillard, Kyrie.
Yeah, Kyrie.
Okay. In this instant, well, based off that list, I would go Dame. I feel like he's the most consistent, I want to say. But more so, I want to say everybody else you named had a killer to play with. Dame has never really played with anybody else. I don't want to use that word killer. Look at your face. All right. They had another monster. They had another Mamba mentality next to them. How about that? Is that cool? Mm-hmm. So nobody else really, Dame never really had that. Like his co-star is CJ. CJ's like smooth. Yeah, he'll get you some buckets, but he never had the, you feel me? Kyrie had LeBron. KD, you had Westbrook. Westbrook, you had James Harden. So it was like everybody had somebody with them that's like ready to drop 50 whenever. Dame never really had that. So for him to be as consistent as he has been, and for him to know that he's the number one on the scouting report, and you still come out and deliver like night after night, and like it's crazy to the point now that his bad games he's having 25. Like a bad game for Dame is like 25, 28. Like that's crazy. Like what's going on here? That 30 points is a bad game. Mm. So just imagine if he actually had a team. Just imagine if he got a chance to play with a prime Brandon Roy. Like it would probably be a totally different story. Imagine if he got Melo a couple of years ago. Like so, it's good. It's crazy to think that he's doing what he's doing without no real help. And I just wish he would get over the hump. I wish the Blazers organization would give him the correct pieces to actually showcase what he can do in the big moments. Like the last couple of years, playoff time came around, they always got hurt. But like I want to see a healthy Dame on the big stage, full power, his team, his talent going against whoever they have to go against, and get over the hump.
All right, I'm gonna say my answer in a short while, but for Dame and the Blazers, they got Robert Covington, Derek Jones. I'm not saying they're crazy players, but Robert Covington is supposed to specialize in playing defense, right? He's supposed to be a 3-and-D guy. But they're terrible. What are they missing, right? Like you said, they need something to get over the hump. So obviously Dame's not doing it himself, right? So what addition does he need? Who does he need? Like give me a player.
He needs a consistent co-star for real. CJ's not as consistent as I want him to be, and for them both to be intertwining at the 1 and the 2, they don't pass the ball enough. So it doesn't allow for the rest of the guys to actually get rhythm and be consistent and helping the offense. They more so put a lot of the offensive load on themselves. So when it's time to get help in the playoffs and it's time in big moments, you have to force the shot. You took all the shots. You can't expect somebody who took 2 shots all game to give you a wide open 3 to win a game. I mean, a la Melo has done it a few times, but that's Melo been in the league 18 years. So they got to do something.
For me, the Blazers are, and I actually have like this weird conspiracy theory going back like I say about 10 years for the Western Conference, that I feel like for you to advance in the Western Conference playoffs, you need a really good small forward who's either a really good 3-and-D type small forward, or they're like if your small forward isn't a superstar, they have to at least be a really good 3-and-D type player. Like if y'all remember, basically Portland has the same issue those Chris Paul and Blake Griffin led Clipper teams had. Notice how those Clipper teams had a lot of guard play and they had big men. The one thing they was missing was small forwards, and they tried to add a lot of makeshift small forwards with Hedo Turkoglu and Matt Barnes and people of those lines. I feel like Portland is doing that in some degree. Like you're adding Melo at the end of his career. He's contributing, but he's at the end of his career. Al-Farouq Aminu didn't really work out the way y'all planned it to. You acquired Robert Covington this offseason and Derrick Jones. They're small forward type players. Robert Covington is the interesting piece in this situation, because if he can deliver, I think Portland can take a next step. But I feel like a player like a Brandon Ingram, like if you don't get like who's a 3-and-D like a Jimmy Butler-ish, and he's undersized, he's really a 2, but just his skill set. If you don't have like a Jimmy Butler on your roster, then I think you need a small forward who can go get you a bucket, number one, cause matchup problems, number 2, and somebody who has fresher legs, because Dame and CJ are just worn down and injured all the time. Like, let's keep it. There's too much weight load on their shoulders, and that's why CJ in particular, like CJ, it's not that you can't be a second like option. It's just you gotta get your health right, bro. Like it's you always hurt. Even in the bubble, you playing hurt, you walking around limping and talking about, I'm about to go get this massage on my lower back, and fam, nah, bro. Like you can't. I think somebody like a Brandon Ingram would fit.
They need an Iguodala 4 years ago. They need like that.
Yes. Yeah. But even notice like the Clippers had this issue, Portland has this issue now. But if you look at a team that did well in the bubble, the Denver Nuggets, they had great small forward play. That Torrey Craig did very well in the bubble. Jaren Grant did so well in the bubble, he got a new contract. So it's just a weird conspiracy theory I have. But if you don't have an elite level small forward in the Western Conference, you very well so much need at least somebody who can hit a 3 and play defense at an efficient clip. If you don't get that, it's not happening.
Hold on, Nom. I wanna just fix his conspiracy theory. The Blazers. What time period you talking about this conspiracy theory? So he's talking about early 2000s. There was no conspiracy theory. It was a big black dude named Shaquille O'Neal. They had a problem.
I would say from before like that last healthy season or somewhat healthy season Brandon Roy had, that roster was fairly good.
Okay.
Nicholas Batum was the problem.
Yeah,
he did not deliver. He played small forward for them. I'm telling you, it's a weird conspiracy theory, but if you don't have an elite level small forward, all the teams that advanced pretty far was Kevin Durant, Oklahoma City, LeBron now, Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe struggled in the West for years until he got who? Ron Artest. What position did he play? Small forward. You need a good small forward out there, son.
All right. Shout out to you for that. Ooh.
My the best point guard in the league, like by far, is definitely just like Steph Curry. No other guard is asked to do what Steph does, right? And when I say that, yes, Dame Lillard, he scores a lot, he does a lot for his team, but the way Steph is called to, he has to impact the team without the ball in his hands, right? Like Lillard, he's dribbling, it's a lot of pick and roll, this and a third. So if you have the ball in your hands, of course you can impact the game. Steph gives it up. He's getting boxing one from the backcourt. He's getting double teamed. He's getting trapped. No other guard is getting trapped or double teamed, or people don't even go that hard to play defense on these people, right? But when Steph is on the court, for some reason, they got to do it because they can't let this one guy show out. I don't think any other guard, if you watch Kyrie play, amazing, right? But he's still not burdened with the shoulder that Steph has to play. Lillard a few days ago said it was hard. Steph is taking hard shots now because he doesn't have the quality guys. But I'm like, hey, no, like the reason why these guys are open is because of Steph, right? Like Klay Thompson and Draymond Green was able to shoot these jump shots because Steph Curry was on the court. it wasn't the other way around. Steph didn't get open because of Klay Thompson.
But no, it was the other way around. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street because if you have Steph Curry on the ball and Klay Thompson, and he draws defense like Klay Thompson's defender, that's very true. But if Klay Thompson is hitting threes at an efficient clip and he's scoring at a rapid rate and Draymond is making smart decisions, it works vice versa. It's not Golden State. It's not Golden State only like benefiting from Steph Curry. Steph Curry benefits from playing with good players too, Namdi. That's why he's partially struggling without them.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what the comment said.
It's a two-way street.
The shots are very harder to come by now because we see there's no one else.
But so if you call struggling scoring 27 points a game, then all right, because we just said Dame is doing bad games and he's doing 20, 25. If Steph is doing 27, how is that struggling, correct? Right? You're talking about struggling on the fact of efficiency, right? Like he's taking more shots to make more points. That's what you mean by struggling, because he hasn't scored less than 25 this whole season.
But I'm talking about shot selection.
So
once he's gonna get his shots up, but the shots are harder the open shots, the quality shots are harder to come by now because there's nobody else to help create. There's nobody else to deflect.
And what to respond to what you said, Namdi, yes, on an efficient, like statistical standpoint, yes, that's okay in the beginning of the season, but Steph Curry isn't built like one of these 6'8", 6'9" dudes. If your workload is that much and that compounds and keeps going over the course of a season, doesn't matter if they shorten to 72 games. This man has an injury history.
Let me ask you another question. Is it easier for a guard to get a screen on top of the wing and score, or is it easier for a guard to keep running around back and forth to find the open shot?
I think it depends on the guard skill set, to be honest.
Just answer the question. That's your answer?
Nah, it depends.
That is my answer. Like I think
it depends if the guard is. It depends if the guard is a slasher. The guard needs the ball.
So once, like I was saying before, right? No other guard. So every other guard plays option A. Every other guard gets a screen on top of the wing, and they're allowed to go to work. Steph Curry is asked to, hey, Steph, we can't let you play like that because we need everybody else to score, right? So your three-point shooting opens up lanes for Wiggins to cut. Your three-point shooting leaves Kelly Oubre wide open on the top of the key. Your three-point shooting allows Wiseman to operate in the post. No other point guard does that. Dame Lillard, he's great and all, but he needs the ball in his hands to affect the game. Kyrie, same situation.
But what me and Rel are saying is, if Steph Curry has to take these shots to get them open, but the players he's playing with are significantly worse than the players who he was playing with, that makes his job harder because they cannot help him by making shots or drawing defense to make his job easier. That's all I'm trying to get to. And when the season goes on, Steph Curry is a person with injury histories, the broken hand, the ankles. He is an injury history player. So you don't want a 6'2", 6'3" guard with that much workload. You see what I'm saying? And
yeah, I just don't like it
coming off of injury. I don't like it. Me personally, I don't like it.
So piggyback off of what he's saying. To piggyback off of what Casey is saying, now Steph is in a situation where he's basically creating his workload and making it harder, like Dame and CJ. The only reason I give Curry the edge over Dame is he's more of a willing passer. If Dame would pass more, maybe he could play off the ball, but he doesn't pass enough to play off the ball. So he needs the ball in his hand and those high screens to get off his shot. Curry, like you said, he can play off the ball. But there's nobody else. There's nobody else to deflect. If Curry doesn't put up his 25, 27, his 50 shots, they don't have a chance. So it's like he's by himself. So it's making him look bad because his numbers aren't as high. But he's always been very impactful, and he's changed the way the game is played from a guard standpoint just because of his shooting.
My thing is, I don't think this is making Steph Curry look bad. I think this is
we just had high expectations for him for so long that now it's it's not the norm.
Think this is a representation of who Steph Curry is. You're not a bad player. You're not trash. You are the greatest NBA shooter ever. You are a Hall of Fame player. You are an NBA champion. But at the end of the day, you are a 6'3" NBA guard. You're not built like a 6'8", 6'9" small forward, so you can't carry the workload of a LeBron, Kevin Durant, a Kawhi, or you can't do it like that. Like the team cannot have you play by yourself. It can't work like that if you're Steph Curry. You are great. It's not that you're whack, but
let me ask you a question then.
That's scary.
Casey, that was terrible. You mentioned Kawhi, KD, and LeBron, who all believe in load management, right? Like you can't mention Kawhi Leonard if he plays. He played 50 games.
But there's a reason. There's a reason why players like that need load management, because when you're carrying the weight of your show, like the weight of your franchise, and you're their like best player for so long, and y'all know how I feel. Kevin Durant was their best player when he got there. That's how I feel. I said what I said. He was their best player. Like from a skill perspective, 7 foot, you can do all of that. Walking 25, walking 30. Come on, and he proved it with the Finals MVPs. But it's like Steph Curry. You're going to be carrying all of this like weight and responsibility. Not saying you're not a great player, but your play style does not allow you to play like with this caliber of player and succeed.
But so
that is what I'm saying about Steph Curry.
So stay right there. His play style, right? So do you blame that on Steph or coaching, right? Because once again, I asked you guys a few minutes ago, Dame Lillard is option A. Kyrie is option A. You set screens for them, they go to work. Steph is a better shooter. So as soon as they said
Steph is option A too.
Huh?
Steph is option A too.
Steph don't get screens.
Why not?
Yes, he does.
Why not?
So for a majority of the game, he gets screens towards the end of the game. Throughout the whole game, he's still running around.
He still gets screens, bro. No matter when they come, they screens.
It's a different kind of screens, right? Like let's not come on.
And it's hard to screen for somebody that's getting double teamed, because I can literally walk away from Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre. It's hard to screen for somebody when there's two people guarding them, and he's a 6'3" guard. You see what I'm saying? Like it's hard.
No, hold on. All right, so I guess my point is getting lost here, right? I'm talking about if Steph had a screen on top of the wing, similar how Lillard and Kyrie has, and they space it out and they spread it out. I'm like, hey, spread it out. Let Steph go to work. That doesn't happen, right? Because Steve Kerr.
It's been happening.
Huh?
It's been happening.
Steve Kerr don't believe in that kind of basketball.
I'm telling you, it's been happening. You gotta go back and watch the film. It's happened. That's how he got off against the Bulls.
My thing is Steph Curry, that type of play style, Namdi, isn't conducive in for who Steph Curry is and how he plays. His best work has come from when he's played with other great shooters. And he doesn't play like that. Like he doesn't when Kevin Durant was on that team, Steph Curry wasn't doing all that.
All right, take KD off it, because they only played for 2 years, bro. Like Steph been in the league for 13 years.
Can we not act like Steph Curry wasn't in the league before Splash Bros? Like he's always been a shooter. I get what you're saying. Like you're trying to say he's put more on a platform because of who he had around him, but we're not gonna act like he was a bum before they got here. Like we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, nobody's calling him a bum. I'm just saying Steph Curry operates at his max capacity when he plays.
He has. Let's say he has operated, resulting in rings when he had KD and healthy Clay around him. Other than that, he's always been healthy. He's always been a great shooter. He's always got a shot off. And I get what Namdi's saying. He's saying, well, whatever. I'll let him explain what he's saying. But I get what you're saying. I'm just sad that a former 2-time MVP, unanimous, first time ever, is now being forced to play in a rebuilding franchise. Like that's just bugged out to me. Like a couple years ago, we was talking about y'all winning 7 championships. And now you're being forced to rebuild.
But wait, hold on. Can we agree, all three of us, we can agree Steph Curry is a better player than Russell Westbrook?
Yeah. Of course.
We can agree there. There's no argument there.
Never been an argument there.
We can both agree that they both play point guard. They're both point guards.
Yeah.
Okay. Where
They
you
are
going?
both.
The sky is
Okay.
blue.
In 2016, 2017, Russell Westbrook, with nobody else of significance on that team, got them to the playoffs as the 6th seed. If Stephen Curry is who y'all say he is, or well, who we believe he is, and if he's the best point guard in the NBA, get this team to the playoffs. Period. Get it to the play. Russell Westbrook, as erratic and as many bad decisions as he makes, just you talking about a system. Is the system broke? Russell was saying, "Bump the system." I don't listen anyway. I'm gonna do what I want. And he still
They have nobody on that team.
who was on
Steven
that team, Andy?
Steven Adams, bro, has
So,
been a
like-
staple for Russell Westbrook's career. You could say he don't put up the numbers, but he's been a staple.
So like,
Give Steph Curry, give Steph Curry
wait,
Steven Adams right
wait,
now, opposed to that
wait.
rookie center they got, and
Y'all,
it'll be a difference.
hold on. So if you're building a playoff team, y'all are really gonna take Steven Adams
over James Wiseman, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
No, that's not where I was going. But where I was going
That's
was
the only
like,
place you gotta go. Like, what are you talking about?
so because I said somebody of significance, like, so now Steven Adams is significant. Like,
Yeah, he is. We're not gonna act like he's not.
what has he done? Obviously, and excuse me. Let me ask a better question. What has he done that wasn't a product of Russell Westbrook being his point guard that is significant?
His defense. That has nothing to do with Russ. He's a defensive anchor.
His presence, period. There's not a lot of bigs who are strong, who
it makes him
still have a post presence in this 3-point era.
It makes him so significant that he didn't win a Defensive Player of the Year award in the last how many seasons? I think ever.
This is what I hate. Everybody's being measured by the awards they win. That's trash. That's terrible. It's not enough awards to give to everybody in the league who actually does stuff for their team. Like, you can't do that.
But
Casey, to your point, like Steven Adams, he sets like good screens, and there's no awards for that, right? So when Russell Westbrook is coming downhill, you have a big body like him. I can get to the rack, right? Wiseman is he's a toothpick, right? Draymond just came back and he's out of shape because of COVID concerns, right? So your best screen didn't come back. My thing is, we can't look at names and be like, oh, because of this player didn't do anything, right? Because even though Westbrook didn't have all-star caliber players team, he still had
functioning players.
Yeah, right. Because Steven Adams, it was good. Billy Donovan did a great job. Honestly, that's
so
what.
Are we saying Stephen Curry doesn't have functioning NBA players right now? Because
bro,
you're Kelly Oubre.
I feel like we can put players in different situations and they will function fine.
Where did Kelly Oubre ever function?
Except for Andrew Wiggins, which I have said that I'm not too certain about him. We are still waiting.
All right, I'm gonna raise my hand. Listen, I was giving Wiggins. I said he was all right. Now he balked on me. I didn't see it. Now I see it. He's dookie. So I apologize.
No, he's not dookie.
Like I am saying the jury is still out. He still needs to show me something. My assessment came from like 3 years ago. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's his 6th year, but once again, like it's a culture change, right? You go from playing in Minnesota to like winning basketball. People expect you to win. But even Steve Kerr came out like a week ago and said, "Yo, this is my fault. I should never threw them all the playbook, the whole entire playbook." That's terrible coaching. If you're coaching, well, I coach with you. We're not going to throw the whole offense to our players.
So having the best point guard on the league doesn't usurp or help in this at all. Like, it's just this is what I'm saying. If Steph Curry is who we believe him to be, what's up? Like, you're supposed to take water and turn it to wine. We expect that from Kawhi. We expect that from KD.
Jesus, relax.
Like what?
What's going on? Jesus. I'm just saying. We expect other superstars.
That's because his bar is already high. Like I said before, y'all cannot do that to him. Everybody's gone. He's in a rebuilding system. He came back off an injury. He's not in the bubble. Relax. We're 6 games in, and y'all like, oh, he's whack, bro. That's a
okay. So then to piggyback,
like unanimous decision. That's never been done before.
So then to piggyback off Rel's point, but to circle back to what I said, it's not that Steph Curry is bad or he's trash. but you literally can't qualify for this question. You haven't been playing. Like Rel just said, you wasn't in the bubble. You got hurt. You messed up your hand. You aren't qualified for the best point guard in the league right now because you don't have enough games. You haven't been there.
All right, we have to go to the next topic. But before we get, so my thing is, you put Lillard over Steph because he scores more, right? But my thing is like, what about impact, right? I feel like a lot of people forget about impact. My thing is, Steph, if I honestly believe if Steph was able to play like Lillard, they would win all the time, right? Sporadically. Like Steve Kerr lets him go sometimes, but think about it. The time he let him go in the finals, he scored 47. That was Steph. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know Steph could do that. Yeah, hey, you go stand in the corner, you stand in the corner, send me this pick right here. I'm going to go to work. He don't get that.
We talking about
Lillard, he has to do that because he can't really. Lillard's not a good catch and shoot person.
Wait, we talking about we talking about when they played Toronto.
2019, correct.
When they lost.
Hey, you know, like the starters were like injured, right? Like,
but you're like,
what?
But wait, hold on. I'm just so we're giving participation or we're giving like
Don't
you did okay. It's
I know my argument. Don't even start that, bro.
Don't do that. We're not.
Don't start that. Because there's one name, and y'all listen. Don't start that.
We didn't think about him today.
All right.
But look, but I'm just saying if that was what we doing, right? I thought that's what we was doing.
So I'm not giving a participation trophy. I'm saying when he had the option to play like Dame Lillard, he scored 47. You're talking about, for the grand scheme of things, did they lose the finals? Yes, they lost the finals. But that's not the question right now, right? No point guard by themselves has won the NBA final. Like, that's impossible to do.
I give you that, but it's like my thing.
It's history.
So then what are we talking about here? Make the playoffs. Like if you're that like okay, Steph Curry is the same person that scored 47 in finals,
games in, bro.
which is a very good feat. Like I'm just saying, if Steph Curry is who we believe him to be, this isn't a debate. Make the playoffs. What else is there to talk about?
Okay, do we have the same energy if Russell Westbrook does not make the playoffs? 6 games in, they're 1-5.
Yes.
It's the same energy.
Yes, I started by saying he's bugging. He 1-5.
All right.
I'm just saying.
So look, we're gonna switch to start bench cut. The first one for 2021. You guys ready?
This should be interesting. This should be interesting.
All right, you guys ready? Haley, start bench cut. Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, Kyrie Irving.
I'm gonna start Dame. I'm gonna bench Steph. Yeah, pardon me, Kyrie, but yeah, you got to get cut, sir.
Rel.
I'm starting Curry. I'm benching Dame. I'm cutting Kyrie.
I'm in greens. I'm starting Steph, benching Dame, and Kyrie. He got to go.
Kyrie ain't make nobody roster.
I mean, he don't do what they do. He not sit there and make 50 from the corner, 50 from the top of the key. So
All right, listen up. That was episode 1, season 4. We're going to keep this going as long as we can do this. How you guys feeling? Any closing remarks?
I missed y'all, man. We back.
Yeah,
I missed Casey long answers.
I'm glad y'all doing well, man. 2020 was, 2020 is 2020. I'm glad y'all doing well. Like Rel said, glad to be back.
I hope it never returns, bro. 21, we won. Let's get it.
I'm your host, the best host, a.k.a. Premium Nom, alongside the People's Champ, KC, and we got my man, Mr. Rel. Hey, follow us at Sports Redefined on all social media platforms. We out.